Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite time each week when I have a guest with me, and I'm really looking forward to this week. I've been looking forward to it because our guest is Becky Rodocker, who is a former community champion on this show, who I recognized way back when I first started doing the show. And I've known Becky for many, many years. And Becky, it's great to have you here on the show today.
Thank you, Jamie.
I think I was 5 or 6 when I first met you.
You were.
You know, funny story about that. You know, I'm sure recall, but my dad agreed to coach the hockey team that I was playing on, and he couldn't skate, but he felt like he knew he'd do a good job with organizing and getting people in the right positions. But he thought, what I'm going to do is figure out how am I going to solve this problem that I can't skate and these kids have to skate. So he found the best skater in the area, which was you. You were 17, 18 at the time, and so you were one of his assistant coaches, and probably really the one that taught us everything. So.
And that was my first year in coaching.
Was it really?
It was.
So that was, you were 17, 18, and you've been, you're still involved with Waha, I guess.
40 consecutive years.
Wow. So what's your role now with Waha?
I'm on the board of directors, and I help out with the mites.
Oh, wow. And so people may not realize the mites, those are the really little guys and girls now.
Right.
And that's one of the big changes. You were one of the first girls to really play back then.
We had a great girls division then. We're rebuilding now.
Yeah. So it's kind of getting underway. But let's talk about the soup kitchen. I mean, that's really why you're here today. And, people may not realize all that the soup kitchen does. You've been there for a good while now.
This is my 17th year.
Yeah, and so as the director, you got a lot that falls on your shoulders, and people may think, well, the soup kitchen, that's just for people that are without a home, that type of thing, and it's not there. You serve so many people.
We serve approximately 225 a day.
And people may not realize, what happens when you come into the soup kitchen? I mean, how is it that you can come there, get a meal, and what time of day, that type of thing?
We're open for breakfast at 7:30, and that's very good because a lot of the folks that come out of shelters are out at 7 o'clock in the morning. So the elements of the weather, whether it's hot or cold, they can come in, watch the news. It's more like a get your own breakfast, self-serve, or have oatmeal out, or, the toaster oven's going, and coffee. And then from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock is a typical soup kitchen meal across the United States. So that's our big meal, and most of our folks that come in, that's their big meal of the day. And we are 100% community funded and volunteer driven. So that time between breakfast and lunch, our volunteers are getting ready for the lunch. We have no menus because we never know what's going to come in through the night as far as food that's been donated. So we come in the morning, look at what we have, and then we cook for 200.
You mentioned food coming in that's donated. I mean, if people, have a big event and there's a bunch of leftover food, can they bring it down there?
They sure can.
How do they go about doing that? I mean, and making sure somebody's there to receive it, that type of thing?
They just give us a call, and we make sure that we're there to receive it at that hour.
Okay.
And the Good Samaritan Act in West Virginia covers any food donated to the soup kitchen.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about if it's bad or
something. Once it comes into our hands, we're 100% responsible for making sure it's good to serve, and we do.
You mentioned it's volunteer service, the people that are there. I mean, so how do you come up with a schedule? I mean, volunteers can sometimes be unreliable. They're not being paid, so sometimes they may not show up. But how does that work?
They just call and get on the schedule. We have some folks that have been coming in. We have our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday crew that's been coming in for years. And a lot of those folks are retired. And it's also a socialization process for them. They get to serve. They get to socialize with one another, meet new people. So it's a very good opportunity for them to come and serve. But we also have people that need community service. They call us and they get on the schedule.
You mentioned breakfast and lunch. So those are the 2 meals of the day?
Yes, we also have a Wednesday night children's meal from 4 to 6, and that coincides with our Just for Kids program. And the Just for Kids program is the 4 to 6 meal for children and their families. It's no longer a soup kitchen. It's more like I consider it just like a big old Italian wedding where everyone's running around, the kids are laughing, and the folks get to, again, socialize. So we have that meal, and then those children are the children that we take care of for back to school so that they have new clothes, new book bags, new supplies, new shoes. And also now we're getting ready for 225 children to give their entire Christmas to.
Wow.
And we take care of the children until they're out of school, meaning if there's children and they have people in their family that have come up through the program and they're in college, they still get gifts. Now,
you mentioned that, over a couple hundred people that you serve each day. Who qualifies? Do you have to show some proof that you qualify in some way, or is if you come in, you get served?
Anyone that's hungry eats.
Yeah.
We have no qualification at all. We just don't have that red tape. I think that those doors, when you need help, are some of the hardest doors to come through that people have ever opened. And when the little kids come in to volunteer, because, you know, a child can volunteer, a 6-year-old can volunteer at the soup kitchen. But when the children come in from school, I always say, did you have a hard time getting through those doors? Were they hard? You know, were they heavy to open? Were you scared? And they're like, no, we're ready to go. And I always tell them, for people that need help, those doors are the hardest doors to come through sometimes in their entire life.
Yeah,
So we also have an emergency food care that if people, you know, like say, for instance, cancer comes into a family or someone loses their job, or it's just a very extreme case that they don't have any food in the house. And a lot of these are middle class, lower middle class people that just something's happened, they have to come in and get food. And you know, it's very difficult for them. So they've already been through that. They don't need to fill out a bunch of red tape, and I don't want to know how much they make, or, you know, you just don't. A lot of people are worried about, do they deserve the meal, or do they qualify? If they've come to us for help, I think that they qualify.
You mentioned, when you mentioned the doors, it occurred to me, a lot of people may not even know where you're located, or where to find you.
We recently renovated, well, 10 years now, we renovated the old Central Fire Station, a beautiful building that's right behind Wheeling Clinic on the corner of 17th and Oak Street.
So kind of right across the street from the library almost.
Yes.
If people want to kind of, if they've been to the Ohio County Public Library right there in downtown Wheeling across from the courthouse, you're right there in that same neck of the woods.
Correct.
We need to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about some of the ways that maybe people can help the soup kitchen. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show. Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking with my guest this week, Becky Rodocker from the Soup Kitchen. And, you know, Becky, one of the things that people may really wonder is what can they do to help? You know, whether it be in terms of giving time, giving money, giving energy, whatever it may be.
That reminds me of Martin Luther King. He said anyone can be great because anyone can serve. So the number one thing would be come down and serve with your family. Bring your family down, because if you don't introduce service to children at a young age, they're never going to get it. Don't wait until the courts tell them they have to go for a speeding ticket. So a lot of our kids that come in are teenagers and they've never volunteered in a soup kitchen before. So that would be number one. Seek a place in the Ohio Valley that you can serve. And of course, our greatest need is monetary donations. This year has been our worst year for donations, and I have no idea why, but we did struggle this year. We struggled a lot.
The year's not up yet, so people can still give, right?
True.
Hopefully, you know, and it's a good time for people to think about giving. You know, some people would like to get some type of tax write-off or that type of thing, and you still got some days here left to do that in December to apply toward this year. But if someone wants to send a donation, how do they make a check payable? Just to the soup kitchen?
The soup kitchen.
Okay. And, you know, with respect to, you mentioned, you know, people may think, well, why do you need donations? You've got free workforce. Obviously, you get paid because you're the director, but you've got volunteers, food's donated, but they may not realize all the costs that go into to running this. You know.
We actually buy about 60% of our food from the same place that all the restaurants do. And we have an overhead of our electric, our gas, our water, all of our bills, all of our quarterly taxes. They all, you know, we're a small business, actually. We're just a 501c3 nonprofit. So your donations are tax deductible, but we still have a business to run. And it's quite expensive. It's over $430,000 a year.
Wow. And I'm sure that's something people wouldn't realize. I mean, just to feed people here in this area, and I'm sure there are others out there that probably aren't coming in because they may be, you know, embarrassed to come in, or may not know about it, or there may be a whole host of other reasons. But to serve the people you do each day, that type of budget is pretty unbelievable. That you and it shows why the donations are so badly needed, I think. You do some things to try to raise money, some fundraisers. Of course, the golf scramble that you do every May, I think, what do we look at, say May 4th will be this year's?
May 4th, yeah, Bordas & Bordas is a major sponsor. The golf scramble's up at Crispin Center. We also have a Super Bowl party coming up in January 27th. We have a small Super Bowl party that anyone can come to. It's lots of fun. And then in September, we have a Wishes and Dishes breakfast that we work with Make-A-Wish Foundation and have a nice breakfast.
People that are active on social media may have also seen a fundraiser that's going on right now around the Christmas time, and It's kind of a Wheeling flavored shirt with Moondog, Charles Waldron, more affectionately known as Moondog in the local area, on the shirt.
Mail America employees got together and they came up with a contest amongst themselves, and that was the winner, and they are marketing it, and we get half the proceeds of the shirt sales, and actually more than half, because it's $10 per shirt, comes directly to the soup kitchen after cost. And it's crazy how excited this young group of employees have taken on this project, and they are helping us immensely.
Where can people get the shirt from at the soup kitchen, or do they do it through Mail America? Where do they get it?
They can go online,
Okay.
and they're going to pick them up at Play It Again Sports on December 22nd, but they have to go online, and it's on our Facebook page, the link to order those by the 17th for Christmas.
So if you want them for Christmas, get it by December 17th.
And they will do another run after Christmas.
Okay. It's kind of a cool looking shirt. I mean, it's got his image, but it's kind of in a faded type way that, it's a neat shirt.
And he gave his blessing.
Yeah.
He's very excited about it.
And that's important. If you want to make sure you do that when you're
Absolutely.
utilizing someone's likeness and to benefit, and even though it's for a charitable cause, you still want to make sure someone's okay with that. So it's great that he said okay to that.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah, it's cool. So if you had to really give a message to people about what the soup kitchen does and why it's important to this area, to this valley, to Wheeling, what do you think's what it does the most?
I think it's become a community center, and just not for the East Wheeling community, but all of Wheeling. And we have no geographical boundaries either. We get about 20% of our patrons come from Belmont County. So I think that the main thing is to stick to our mission of feeding the hungry. And then we have this children's program that we know that 227 children are going to school with the pride of having new clothes, new book bag, feeling good about themselves on the first day of school. And then now the holiday gifts. So the children are taken care of that come to the soup kitchen. And we also have a clinic that we are working with Health Right and Project Hope, that we built a small examination room in our building. And on Wednesday afternoons, anyone that comes into the soup kitchen can be seen by a physician or a physician's assistant and be taken care of medically too. A lot of our patrons are scared of going to the hospital, or it's just easier to go right there, or they have things that they haven't taken care of for a while. So it's been a blessing as well. But the main thing the soup kitchen does is pull together people in the community that need help and those that are willing to give help. And it's become such a wonderful place to be. It's not a place that's dirty, or you have this picture in your mind, oh, it's a soup kitchen. They're going to be serving soup and bread. It's a full meal. We make very good, nutritious, wholesome meals that anyone can eat, a diabetic or any problems that someone may have health-wise. We will find them something that they can eat. But we also the main thing is to make it a pleasant experience. It's very clean, and right now very beautifully decorated for Christmas, and a lot of happy things are going on.
Well, Becky, I really appreciate being on the show, and
Thank you.
God bless you and all the work that you're doing. Have a really Merry Christmas.
Thank
okay?
you, Jamie.
All right. Thanks a lot.